Welcome to Plot 27. This video is the storyline of the 2022 horror movie, titled Incarnation. The story begins with a young couple about to buy a house in Los Angeles, Jessica and Brad. While Jess is looking around the kitchen, a man named Peter arrives. He's the owner of the house. Shortly after, Jess comes out and says she really loves the house. Jess wants to make a flower garden in the backyard, but she gets annoyed when she sees a tree stump. The house has 3 bedrooms, but one of them can't be opened, and they plan to tell Peter about it. Brad and Jess are shocked when the locked door suddenly opens by itself, but they assume it's just the wind. Brad wakes up after hearing someone knocking on the door, so he goes out to check. He's puzzled when the upstairs bedroom door, the one that couldn't be opened before, suddenly opens on its own. Brad looks inside the room, but his phone falls to the floor. He's startled when Jess suddenly appears behind him. Brad thinks there might be rats in that room, and he's confused when the door locks itself again. The next morning, Jess is cooking in the kitchen. She calls Peter to tell him they have a rat problem upstairs. After hanging up, she sees a crow crash into the window. Jess quickly goes upstairs after hearing a strange noise. She's terrified because it seems like something is trying to break out of the locked room. The door suddenly opens, and Jess slowly steps inside. She finds a strange object, but panics when the door locks behind her. Before going upstairs, she forgot to turn off the stove, and her toast burns. A box suddenly falls, and Jess picks it up. Inside the box, she finds an old book, a knife, and several gold coins. The door unlocks again, and Jess sees smoke filling the house. She rushes downstairs but trips and faints. Brad, who just arrived, turns off the fire and helps Jess. Jess tells Brad about the strange things she experienced and shows him the ancient gold coin she found in the room. That night, Brad opens the old book and reads a spell written inside. After reading it, he's shocked to see a gold coin appear in his hand. The next day, Brad shows the old book to Peter, who says it belonged to his father. Peter explains that his father liked collecting strange objects and was involved in an occult society. Since Peter isn't interested in that kind of thing, he tells Brad to keep the book. That night, Brad receives an email from the city administrator saying he'll receive a $900,000 tourism grant. Hearing this, Jess is thrilled because they can rebuild their business. Brad gets a message that his credit card has been blocked due to suspicious activity. It turns out, Jess secretly used the card to pay for IVF therapy so they could have a baby. Brad has always been afraid of having a child because of their poor financial situation. He's furious because that was their last line of credit, and now they don't even have money to buy groceries. That night, Brad reads the spell again and performs the ritual described in the book. Jess wakes up and is shocked to see what Brad is doing. Brad apologizes for his behavior and promises they'll have a baby by summer. He then tells Jess about the gold coin that appeared after reading the spell, saying the old book can make them rich. Brad and Jess eventually perform the ritual together, following the instructions in the ancient book. The next day, Brad worries because he needs a lot of money to pay off debts. Jess decides to ask someone for help and invites that person to dinner. While preparing the meal, Jess gets scared when she sees her reflection in the mirror. Brad panics when he notices a wound on his wife's neck, and Jess explains the strange event that just happened. It turns out, the guest they invited for dinner is Peter. Brad tells him that he and Jess are starting a business called a brewpub, a combination of a brewery and a restaurant. Brad invites Peter to invest, but Peter isn't interested. He gets angry and tells them to leave since they haven't paid for the house yet. In desperation, Brad suddenly attacks Peter until he passes out. Brad tells Jess he had no choice. Otherwise, they would have been kicked out of the house. He ties Peter up and locks him in the upstairs room. Brad and Jess perform the ritual again, and afterward, an evil spirit suddenly attacks Peter. When Brad and Jess go into the room, they find Peter badly injured. Brad wakes up later to find blood pouring from Jess's back, and he's horrified to see a carved symbol there. Brad reads the chapter about sacrifice in the old book, then goes to kill Peter. He remembers when his father once told him to kill a dog, but because he couldn't do it, his father killed the dog himself. Jess tries to stop Brad, but it's too late. Brad has already killed Peter. Brad and Jess wake up after hearing noises from the upstairs room. They go up and are shocked to see Peter still alive. Jess stops Brad because she senses that it's not really Peter. The evil spirit has possessed his body. The entity orders Brad to worship it and gives him several gold coins. The next day, Brad sells the gold coins and earns a large amount of money. He tells Jess that the evil spirit can make their business successful, but it requires a sacrifice. A few months later, Jess is planting flowers in the backyard, and she's now pregnant. Brad has bought a new house, and they plan to move soon. Jess decides to name their baby Anna, but she's shocked to find crow feathers in the crib. It turns out, Peter has marked their baby for sacrifice. The lights suddenly go out, and Brad tells Jess to leave immediately to save their child. While hiding, Jess watches Peter kill Brad. Peter then finds and attacks her. Jess wakes up in a hospital, panicking when she realizes her baby is gone, and the movie ends. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more movie storylines.